Tune in 12 noon on Sundays for Millennial High on 106.5 FM WPPM People Power Media with Tia Whitfield, the #1 show in Philadelphia that wants to give you the best in artists, entertainment, education, health, fitness, and philanthropy. Millennial High is not just a show. It is here to inspire and provoke others to take action towards their purpose in life. So if you have an uplifting, thought-provoking message, get with us at Millennial High. That is millennialhigh@gmail.com.
Millennial High. Tia from Millennial High.
With the one and only Miss Tia Whitfield.
A 106.5 FM.
This is Anthony Lower, tech guru here in Philadelphia, and you're listening to the most innovative talk show in the city, Millennial High. And here's Tia.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Shasha High, the host of Millennial High, where the trend-setting millennial comes for motivation, inspiration, and deep conversation. Today's show is going to be a great one. We're going to have so much fun. First up, we have Marty Kryzwonos. And Marty.
Yes.
And he was with me. He was the videographer during my Millennial High Live during the LadyBug Music Festival. And we're going to talk about our experience there. We had a great time. I mean, it was raining.
It was an adventure.
It was an adventure, as he says. Now, the second half of the show, we'll have the Illadel Child himself, Eli Capella. And I'm so looking forward to talking to him. It's been a while. We had to reschedule a few times. So he's finally going to be on at 12:30. So we'll find out about the man behind the music. And he's so dope. I mean, he's just another elite artist in Philadelphia's music scene right now. Like, you'll see him all over at every event, any open mic, hosting them, throwing them. Like, he's so awesome. And then we'll close out the show with a little recap, or not a recap, but just there's a lot happening this week as far as fundraisers in the city. So I definitely wanted to go through that. One of them being Women in Media is having a Flow fundraiser on Thursday. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. But in the meantime, just sit back, relax, and vibe out to Silence featuring Khalid. And we are back. If you're just tuning in, you just heard Marshmello featuring Khalid, Silence. I love that song. And I have Marty Kryzwonos in the studio. This is 106.5 FM here in Philadelphia. Hi, Marty.
Hello.
Marty is awesome. Okay, so let me just start out by saying that calling Marty a videographer is just absolutely, like, does not give him justice. This man is incredible. He's absolutely incredible. He's a composer. He's an award-winning composer,
and you had that
actually.
real snazzy opening number I liked in the beginning of the show.
Absolutely, yes, and that's the closing, but I'll say it now. But the intro, as you all know, I can't do it. That's why music's there. That's composed by Marty Kryzwonos. So, hey, Marty, because you haven't been on my show since.
Yeah, so things have been happening. I've been doing a lot of stuff.
You won an award.
Yes, I won the award for Philadelphia Independent Film Awards for Best Score for my film Mazurkas.
Yes. Me and my daughter made a little cameo in that in the diner scene.
Yes, that's true.
But no, Marty, he's awesome. He's an actor. He's a filmmaker. He's appeared in such films as The Happening, Silver Lining Playbook, Safe, and Black Swan. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, oh my God. And You know what? He was in my favorite movie, Just Right.
Oh, yeah.
That is my favorite movie. I used to watch that all of the time.
I shared the scene with Queen Latifah.
You did.
I got to say a line in that scene.
I know.
So
I love it. So if you ever saw Just Right, it's with Queen Latifah, Common, and it's like a love story between them. And Common's a basketball player. So they were at a game. He played for the Knicks.
He played for the Knicks before they went to Brooklyn.
Right, yeah, right. And so Marty was one of the people in the stands behind Queen Latifah. And,
yeah, I was heckling the Knicks.
Yeah, so it was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I would have loved to be in that. I mean, I tried to do that type of deal, the background, but it's a lot of time.
It is. You have to give up your entire day.
Yeah.
And be prepared to be there for up to even 14 hours sometimes.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So Marty lended a helping hand and he's like, Tia, all right. I was like, Marty, listen, I have this really great opportunity. I had the founders of the LadyBug Music Festival, which is a music festival in Delaware, is the country's first and only all-female music festival. And they were on my show last week. And I'm like, listen, we can cover this event. I need someone to hold it, help a sister out, what I mean?
Well, I got to say, it was when you called me, I thought, oh, okay, well, we'll see a couple of artists, we'll hear a couple of concerts, and I'll be home by 6 o'clock.
You're right. Not with me.
No, we wound up interviewing 4 of the artists. Mm-hmm. I got footage of about 5 or 6 of the shows.
Yeah,
some really good footage, which we're going to compile into a kind of a little special little documentary thing. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that. And the people who we interviewed, the women we interviewed, were delightful. They are very talented. And it was a lot of fun, dealing with it. A lot of running around, a lot of back and forthing. Between the shows and the interviews. Yeah,
but that's what I love. And I feel like that's when I come most alive. And I know Marty's really good at what he does. So it's really good to have, someone giving me direction, at times. But so first it rained. So it was supposed to be an outdoor festival. A lot of the acts were going to be outdoors in Wilmington, Delaware, on one street. Outdoor, but it was a call for rain, so they put everything inside.
Very smart move.
And it was all in this really dope venue called The Queen, and I love it there. I thought it was so cool. And I saw one act there before, and their name was Appalachia Rising. I can't, something like that. But I'm like, oh, I have been here before. So our first interviewee was Laura Cheadle. Laura Cheadle.
I got to say this. She came with her father.
Yeah.
And her father is a monster.
Yeah.
Keyboard player. He is phenomenal. And when you interviewed him, well, you interviewed Laura first, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you brought Dad into the picture. Well, Dad, tell us about what Dad has done, who he has played with. This guy's an incredible player.
Dad is awesome. I mean, Laura is phenomenal. So basically, it's a family band, right? So Laura is a frontliner. She writes all the songs, but when she said, oh, music's in my blood, I'm like, elaborate a little bit on that. And then she's like, yeah, because my dad's in my band, so is my brother, so is her cousin. And the dad comes up and we start talking to him, and he's done so many great things. He was in a studio band.
Right.
And he was, I don't know, what was it? So it was like the Stylistics.
Mm-hmm. OJs.
He played for the OJs.
Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, Jonas. No,
not Jonas.
They were an opening act for the Jonas Brothers.
Right. It was the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the Backstreet Boys?
No, it was the Jonas Brothers.
But wasn't he playing backup for the Backstreet Boys?
I don't think it was Backstreet Boys, but you know who it was?
What was that?
Philly's own Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men. I knew there was a boys in there somewhere. I knew boys had to do something with it.
Backstreet Boys and Boyz II Men. They're just completely two different
types.
Hey,
oranges, apples. Who cares? What's the difference?
Not at all. So she was so awesome, and her dad is phenomenal on the keys, and that's coming from Marty, who's also phenomenal on the keys. So
he was like playing bass in the left hand. It sounded like a real bass player. And the right hand, he was just playing these real tasty riffs, whether it's on a piano or organ sound. He was great. And he complimented Laura. Laura was phenomenal.
Her
Laura's
voice,
really good.
she's like this bluesy jazz type singer, and she has a new album out called Chill. And, we just had a really great conversation. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And,
she's local.
She's local. She's right in New Jersey, but she travels the world. And, when I say to her, I was like, what's your ultimate goal as a musician, And she's like, just to continuously tour. She's like, to stay relevant and to tour. And, I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And, so she's just like, hey, why don't you guys come? And her dad's like, why don't you guys come to the studio? So they have their own studio. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. We can do like a behind the scenes thing, how you create your music. And I'm looking at Marty the whole time, and he's looking at me like, Tia.
No, I'm up for it. I'm cool. We can do it.
I think I love that so much. So just as long as Marty's up for it, we're invited to their studio.
It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Who was next? So that was Laura Cheadle. She's awesome.
I think was it Bronny?
No, Bronny came in.
Yeah.
No, but it was Bronny is this. She's awesome. She's like I think she's 19-year-old, and she's from Europe.
She's from the UK.
Yeah, and she is just so awesome. She actually won, like back 3 years ago, she won Ryan Seacrest's online competition of who can do the best cover song. And she sung a song by 5 Seconds of Summer, and she won it. And from then, her career just took off. So she's kind of like an Avril Lavigne type of singer, like grunge rock type. Mm-hmm. And she was so cool, so warm, and so sweet. And one thing I can say is just that all the artists that we did interview, they were all like for, and loved being a participant in this festival. They're like, we're down. Like once I knew it was just like an all-female festival, I was like, sign me up. Like, where can I be signed up? That was kind of cool.
And the thing I should point out is, it was a female festival in the idea that all the acts were led by females. They had men and women in all the bands, but the leaders of the bands were the women, and that was a really great thing to see.
So the next band we interviewed was Paulette Bronson and the Mix People.
Yes.
And she was really cool. I mean, so she plays the guitar, she plays the drums, she sings. It's just like a band of just like really great, awesome musicians and performers. Yep.
They had a conga player, they had drums, they had it was a clarinet. I think it was an alto clarinet. She was playing gold clarinet, and had a keyboardist who was playing one of those keyboards that you hold like a guitar. And that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, they were vibing out. And it was just like a big sound, like big music band.
It was a big sound, yeah.
Big sound.
That was it.
And, once they started playing, everyone's like running over. We were sitting down to start with, but a lot of people were getting up and dancing and vibing with it. I mean, it was really, really, really great time.
Yeah, and I'm pleased to say that I got footage of all the interviews of their bands. So when we put this compilation together, you're going to see some great examples of their musicianship.
And then, okay, so there was a lot of like running around to do in between like interviewing and then running to catch your show, and then having another interview, then running to, the next venue to catch that show.
Finding a place to eat.
Oh, God. Listen, let me tell you. What's so weird? The minute I decided to eat something, I regretted it, because when I'm in that zone, I'm like, okay, I can just not eat the entire day until it's all over, because my nerves get to me, and then it just makes me super sleepy. And then once I had those fries, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Because I never eat until it's all done. But hanging out with Marty, he's like, we need to get something to eat. We need to get something to eat. We need to get something.
Well,
no, we don't need to get anything to eat, Marty.
I was thinking of Cheyenne too.
Yeah, so Cheyenne, she's younger, so she was
an invaluable asset. She was incredible. She did a great job.
She did do a great job. She was schooling him, so I might actually ask Cheyenne next time.
I'm telling you, I might be fired. I might have a job already.
It's like, is Cheyenne available to do this video with me?
What? Wait a minute. But we got when we were eating, we were entertained by a very interesting fashion show.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was like.
It was kind of like an Iron Maiden, if Iron Maiden had a fashion show. Well, that's what it was
called, like an Iron Maiden. It was called the Iron Maid, wasn't it?
Iron Maid, yeah.
Okay, and then, so it was cool. It got really, like, dark and eerie and kind of like, I kind of felt like I was in, like a fairy community.
Fantasy thing, yeah.
Yeah, like a fantasy world.
But a heavy metal fantasy.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know how those girls put those. If you look at my stories, go to at Millennial High. Just go to Millennial High on Instagram, and you can like go through my stories, and you'll just see the recap of the event. I mean, I got pictures of it, but we didn't get any video of it.
Well, that's fine. You know, the pictures are just fine.
Yeah, the pictures are fine.
Yeah, and you know what was great is, I mean, the designer was there, a lovely young lady, and I swear, I think instead of using a sewing machine to put these things together, I think she went to Radio Shack and got one of them soldering irons.
She probably had to. You're out of control.
And but they were really fascinating. I mean, if you open a book of like fantasy type of costumes, of that genre, it was interesting to see them actually come to life, and they were very, very, very well designed. So yeah, it was interesting. It was very interesting. And
then, okay, so I'm gonna play her song. What time is it? 12:20. Eli's almost coming on, but okay, so I don't have time to play her right now, and I'm sure Marty probably won't even like me to play her right now.
Which one's that, Bronny?
No, Lauren Ruth Ward.
Oh,
okay,
Lauren.
So she was like my dream interview, and I was so close to interviewing her, and so close to interviewing her.
It's the luck of the draw.
It's the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
And so she's really big right now, or she's up and coming, but she will be big. Trust me, you will know her name by this time next year. And she just has this like raspy, so like this insanely great voice. Like every time I hear her, like my heart just jumps. I love her. And I was so close to entering her, but it didn't happen. But she put on an amazing performance, and Marty captured it, and it's going to be on the series that we're going to create out of the footage. So you got to see it. If you don't know who Lauren Ruth Ward is, you need to know her and just look her up. Lauren Ruth Ward on Facebook, Lauren Ruth Ward on Instagram. But they're just really cool. I had a great time.
Can I really quickly say, Bronny, who we interviewed yesterday and we filmed some of her stuff, she's going to be performing today at 2:00 at a place called The Fire.
Yeah, and she was super sweet too. So maybe we'll.
It's in Philadelphia.
Out.
Yeah. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, she was so sweet too. Eli's on his way, but until then, I just want to just shout out Jeremy and Gail. They are the
they're coordinators, right?
Yeah. Well, they were the creators of the event to begin with. This is the 7th year, and like I know that the last day was rainy, and like the numbers could have been down a little bit because of the rain, but it was a really great event. And then I just appreciate, everything that goes into putting on a festival like that. I mean, just getting the acts and just nods out, like heads up to anyone listening who is an artist. They're so open and they're so nice that if you have an idea, definitely, definitely reach out to them.
They give a lot of upcoming artists a chance to perform, and it mark your calendars, or in fact, try to connect with them if you're a performing artist.
Yeah.
To find out how you can audition or how you can send something in for next year's film music fest. because it's really a great event in Wilmington.
It is. And I'm like, you know what? Why didn't we, we don't have anything like that here in Philly. And I'm surprised that Philly didn't come up with this first, like an all-female music. Because honestly, a lot of the headliners are always male. Always male. There's more male performing artists I go to festivals all the time. I love music festivals. I haven't gone to any this year because I've been so busy just with the show and like really trying to improve in my craft. So I haven't had time to enjoy other people's crafts. But I love music festivals, and I realize that there are so many male performers, but there's a lot of great female artists.
Yeah, that's what makes
out
the
there, and that's what makes the
LadyBug
festival stand out and different. And they start taking submissions in the fall. And one thing that Gail did mention in the other show, when they look at she's like a lot, and actually there was another event here, and it was called the Cypher, and it was during Tech Week in Philadelphia. And this is what Venice had to say. She was creator of the Cypher. This is what she had to say about the submissions that she gets from musicians. And it's the same exact thing that Gail said and Jeremy said it's that they're all the same. Like, it's hard, like, they're all the same type of submission. It's like, hey, this is me. Here's my song. They're like, do something different. Do something that makes you stand out. It's just, and they get so many submissions that it's not good enough anymore. You have a really great voice and you're just standing there. That's not good enough anymore. Like, present something to them within the submission. And that kind of gives you like, oh, I'll remember her throughout these thousands of submissions that we get. But because she did that little thing, I'm going to remember her. Because he did that little thing, I'll remember him, to stand out. And I realized this, like, hearing people who deal with artists all the time, it's just the same old submissions. And I guess when you're doing it and you're sitting in front of the camera, you don't realize that you're doing the same thing 10 other people are doing, 100 other people are doing. But, do something outrageous.
That's because I think what happens is people also think of terms of marketability, and they look at what the benchmark is, what everybody else is doing. Well, so I should do that because I'll have a better chance of being recognized because that's what everybody listens to. But that's not always the case.
It's not. It's uniqueness. And so we had this discussion in the car. We'll wrap up with this, but we had the discussion in the car on the way back home, driving back from the LadyBug Festival. And Cheyenne, she's 17 now?
15.
She's 15. Okay, wow, she's 15. So she's 15 now, and we were discussing just performers on stage and how I love, for me, I love seeing someone perform. Like, show me that, this music came from your heart. It came from your soul. Like, show me that. Just don't stand there. Like, show me how much it, that's what I like. So I like the fact that Lauren Ruth Ward had her tambourine and she's shaking all around and she's flipping her hair and she's like twirling like that. And sometimes she was crawling on the stage. I like that.
But it's funny because Cheyenne was more into the music, so she liked the woman Gail, who was just a 3-piece band, and very non-theatrical, but the music was really good. So everybody's got their own tastes.
Yeah, everyone has their own taste, but honestly, that's what you see. Like, people love Beyonce because she puts on a performance while she's on stage. She just doesn't stand there with the piano or with it's like she does, it's a lot more. It's like, show us, show us who you are. No, I'm serious. I love that. So, all right. So let's wrap this up.
Okay.
So thanks, Marty Kryzwonos, the composer.
I have to go now and edit
the actor,
all the stuff,
the director, the award-winning everything. He wins awards and everything. But thank you so much. Thank you for coming with me to the LadyBug Music Festival yesterday. Yeah. I had a great time. Up next is Eli Capella. He just came into the studio. I cannot wait to talk to him. This is going to be a really great conversation. We'll play some of his music too. Until then, I'm going to play a little bit of, you know what I want to hear? Kygo and Miguel.
I was going to say the same thing.
Remind me to forget. And we are back. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Tia Shashahai. I have Eli Capella. Your mic's on.
What's up? What's up? What's good, everybody? How you doing?
I'm so excited to finally have him here. It's been a couple of, we had to his schedule's crazy. With him doing this thing, but we finally agreed on a day and time. So I'm going to just introduce Eli, and then we're going to start talking a little bit. And I told you that I like a bio that I saw of yours. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah.
You like that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, straight from the slums of Philadelphia, the Illadel Child Eli Capella shatters the airways with his amazing sound while conquering stages with his phenomenal stage presence, empowering minds with his lyrics while making bodies move with his amazing ear for production. He plans on taking his city of Philly by storm in the dopest way possible. Eli. All right, so I have a question. Mm-hmm. First things first, Eli Capella or Young Capella?
Oh, it's Eli Capella, but Young Capella could be like an alias or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I think I referred to you as Young Capella once, and you're like, oh, Eli. And I'm like, but it says on the gram, it says Young Capella. I was so confused.
Oh, yeah. So the ad name is Eli Capella, but it's cool to call me that because that's what I refer to in one of my songs. So
okay,
it's all good. So
talk to us. How are you today? How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. It's been a very productive weekend. I've been performing at so on Friday I performed at the Limitless Music Festival Gala. That was hosted by Erica Alexander. Most people know her as Maxine from Living Single. Mm-hmm. And then I performed at the Limitless Music Festival. That was yesterday. And that was my first time performing with an umbrella because it was really raining and whatnot. But I didn't let that stop me. The crowd really enjoyed me. Really got to have a dope conversation with Erica. She's a really dope soul. And
I love that.
I just had a really good time.
So I heard of the Limitless Music Festival, and I'm like, oh, come on. I feel like everything happens all at one time.
Yeah,
because I was already scheduled to cover another festival, but I'm like, oh, I wanted to go because I know you were on stage.
Yeah.
And a couple other people were going to be on stage. So I'm like, oh, that would have been great. So tell me a little bit about how you got started. What's your backstory?
So I've been performing pretty much all my life. I grew up as a church boy. I was one of the youngest kids in the church choir. Actually wasn't even supposed to be in the choir, but because of my persistence and dedication, they allowed me to be in the choir. I started performing solo around 6 or 7, actually singing. And that's pretty much where the music started. I started rapping at about 12 or 13. I would dabble in it here and there, but my self-esteem wouldn't allow me to continue to pursue it further. I actually
wait a minute.
You good?
Wait a minute. I gotta touch on that.
Okay.
What do you mean by that? Your self-esteem went
So being younger, living in Albany, going to Morrison Elementary School, it was actually pretty tough because I suffer from extreme anxiety from watching my big brother get jumped at a young age, at about 10, I think, and he got jumped by an 18-year-old and this other boy when he was only 15. So I watched him really get trashed, and that really traumatized me. So growing up, I used to always get in fights prior to that moment, but then after that, it was a complete shift because every time any altercation was about to occur, my heart rate would start to rise sky high, and I just would literally start shaking in the inside. And I did used to get bullied. I did used to get peer pressure to do a lot of things that I didn't want to do, that I don't regret because everything is a lesson,
Absolutely,
and, so I really would look in the mirror and just not be able to see who I really was as a beautiful person that God created me to be. I always thought that my distinct qualities would be flaws, like the hyperpigmentation underneath my eyes, my skin tone. I used to want to be like super duper light skinned and whatnot. Like I used to think that's what would make me get attention from most people. And just and I used to be chubby, so that was a big thing that I was very self-conscious about, and just so much more, you know.
And you know that is what a lot of like preteens, teens deal with. Like they all deal with that. I mean, I remember being that young and dealing with and having issues about my complexion too, and thinking like, oh, I wish I looked like this. I wish my hair was like that. You know, we all compare ourselves, but I think the beauty in it is just that you use it as a lesson. You overcome it.
Right.
So what were some things that helped you overcome and gain confidence to become Eli Capella?
Definitely prayer. I actually started really gaining my confidence when I used to go to college. So I spent a year at the Community College of Philadelphia, and I would literally just ask God to like put people around me who were honest with me and genuine and real. And even though I was going through a lot during that time, because that's when I voluntarily decided to leave my mom's house, and I was actually living house to house from my grandma's house in the projects to another friend's house who didn't have the best living circumstances as well. So, but the irony in all of that was that I actually started to become extremely happy. Like that's when I really started to notice myself. And things that I saw as flawed aspects of my image, I just started to accept it. Like, all right, yeah, that's cool. Like, there's dark shades under my eyes. That's fine. Like, I still look good. And the people who I had around me were like extremely dope people who weren't really trying to peer pressure me into anything. We were all kind of like-minded people, whether it came to music, fashion, art, so on and so forth. And they explored me to new things, and so did I, and vice versa, you know. So I would definitely say God brought people around me who were just really honest, even in terms of the harshest truths, and who wouldn't take my vulnerability for granted, you know. And
that's key to, like you said, be around like-minded people. That is absolutely key. So then now let's talk about how you took your experiences and transformed them into producing your music, being a lyricist. So when did you know that, you know, I can do this?
When I was about 15 in the 10th grade, I was going to Gratz High School. So prior to going to Gratz, when I lived in Albany, I was very self-conscious about my rapping because people didn't take me seriously at all. Like nor did the teachers. I would actually get in trouble for writing in class when I went to Albany High School. And when I went to Gratz High School, I was living in down North Philly. It's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different culture and environment. When I got down there, my composition teacher actually caught me writing. I'm like, dang, I'm about to get in trouble. And he
wait, your composition teacher caught you writing?
yeah, right. But like everything was over though. Like we were actually supposed to
I got
something else. Yeah, so he called me write raps and whatnot because I used to do it for fun. Because when I got the grads, I used to sit at the lunch table by myself. You know, because I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody there when I first got there. So I would literally use rapping as a distraction to let time go by. Like, all right, cool. When is lunch about to be over so I could not be in an awkward space? And I just started getting used to it. I couldn't really go outside a lot. My mom is a very overprotective mother. So the only time I would really be able to explore was when I was over my dad's or like my dad's side of the family. And he called me writing and he read it and he came back to me and was like, yo, like you're really talented. Like every time you write, can you promise me that you'll let me read? It's like, sure. Then another instance is when I was in my music class and he turned on a James Brown break beat, and I don't know why, I just wanted to rap to it, and I started rapping to it, and the whole class just started going crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so let's fast forward then to now. What is your latest album?
So my latest album is called Illadel. I'm in the process of recording my newest album called Born and Raised in Soul, aka Bars. I actually started a GoFundMe for that project, and it's going pretty good. Almost at $500.
Good.
In terms of the funds.
So that's for like recording costs and marketing
recording,
costs.
Yep. Marketing, videos, merch.
Let me tell you, like, okay, so what I find with all artists, right? You know, you have the passion and you're good at what you do. But in order to like disseminate that to the world, that costs money. So I'm happy that you started this GoFundMe.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You know, that makes sense to me. Oh, okay. So we're gonna play a track off of Illadel. But before that, talk to me about the inspiration behind the album.
Okay, so the inspiration behind the album was definitely when I was living with my dad in the area of Kensington. I think it's the biggest heroin activity in the world going on down there, like in terms of the addiction.
Yeah,
in Kensington. Yeah, like they
10
have
City, like around 10 City, like
no, like in Philly. That's like a section.
Yeah,
down Kensington, Allegheny.
Yeah.
So I definitely got a lot of inspiration there, and all I really saw was like, besides the people who were addicted to drugs, like the people who were selling them had to be close to my age or just a little bit older, and I would see little kids playing in fire hydrants, completely oblivious to needles on the ground, rats running around, like literal rats just everywhere, mice infestation, so much going on, but like people were still happy. And that's when I came to the understanding that people who do these kinds of things, they're not born as monsters. They're shaped by the environment that's made for them, so they have to adapt any way that they see possible. You know, we might not agree with it, but that's the life that they feel like they had, and they didn't feel like they could choose another way because literally the buildings and walls that surround them is as far as their knowledge can take them, as far as the possibilities, you know. So that definitely inspired me to write this, because I wanted to change the perspective of how people view them.
Now I'm gonna play Faded. Can you introduce that track?
Yeah, so Faded is pretty much the anthem that introduced my company called Item 9. 9 stands for Never Initiate in Negative Energy, and I really wanted to show how I'm the kind of person who is always on the high, like a high off life, high off love. So I just really wanted to show people my journey throughout building myself in the Philly network.
All right, here we go. Let's play Faded, Eli Capella.
Single that I've dropped. It's available on SoundCloud. For those who don't know, just listen. Yeah, you know that. That's the nine. Yeah, you know that. That's the nine. That's the nine. So yeah, this is my last song. I'm gonna give y'all everything, so I need everything back. So I'm gonna need everybody to put their hands up. You gon' feel it. Hands up. 1, 2, 3, go.
Faded, all up on the stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the nine. Yeah, you know that that's the nine. Faded, all up on the stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the nine. Yeah, you know that that's the nine. Check it out now, I'm the guy who been on the rise. Yeah, I'm hella wise from a place where they looking bummy, but they bullets fly. Oh, you hate the way you're young and get it? Yeah, I can tell. This swag I can never knock. You know my name be ringing bells. Love, I got plenty. They say I'm representing. Yeah, the world is for the taking, so they take in to listen. And my swag is sufficient, cause a young and be drifting. So when I step into that closet, funerals commencing. Woo! Moment of silence for the victims. They should've known I was gon' kill them, cause the youngest stay persistent. I'm super fly, I'll never land. Reppin' for them laws, boys, I killed the hook like Peter Pan. Faded, all up on the stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the nine. Yeah, you know that that's the nine. Faded, them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that's the nine. Yeah, you know that's the nine. From rags to riches, I swear to get it and stay the realest. Don't get it twisted, the stuff we into completely different. I'm in my bag, she in the panties, you in your feelings. I'm in my lane with a chauffeur driven by competition. Where the grind, my enemies cannot stop. They can't take me off my square, no put me inside a box. They don't know what to do with youngins who refuse to lose. Keep it true while entertaining you. Push it through, we do what we gotta do to own all that, so we let it all stay. Black entrepreneurs, I let it be known with a mic in the core. With this music, cops won't abuse it. Even though I'm killed and shot or record. While I'm on tour, we all gon' win. Ruby Shorty's gon' love my friend. But on the road, I got a girl like him. A rider in the car, there she is. Faded. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that's the nine. Yeah, you know that's the nine. Faded. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that's the nine. Yeah, you know that's the nine.
And we are back. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Tia Shasha High. You just heard Faded Eli Capella. Eli is in the studio. You gotta just... I want you to tell us what 9 means again. I just want you to just say it again. And I want you to go slow because it's so good.
Okay. 9 stands for never initiating negative energy. So when people scream, hey, that's the 9, that's really what they're representing and what they're affirming.
I love it. And talk about, do you have any video? I know you have videos out, but do you have a video for this?
Yes, I do. So the official video has been out for a little while now. It features amazing dancers, an amazing environment. We actually shot it at the abandoned Delaware Electric Factory near Beach Street, and there's like so much graffiti in there, like so many stories that have been told for decades that are painted onto those walls, you know. So I just really wanted to commemorate all the hip hop heads who came before me, and I really wanted to show love to all of the elements of hip hop, you know. Yeah.
So I know that you were saying when we were playing the song that it was a time in your life that you were just doing a lot of things. So it's like a different feel this album, compared to what you're creating now. Can you talk about that?
So during the writing process of Illadel, I was really smoking a lot, you know. Those were one of the things that I would use to run away from my circumstances within my household, within my environment, because you gotta understand, like, the drug addiction literally just does not stop in Kensington. It's only getting worse, you know. And it's really affecting the community, like just the neighborly communal feel, you know. Like, people are very antisocial. It took me months to be able to get a neighbor to say hi to me, you know. The same thing when it comes to my father and my stepmother and my little brothers. Like, my little brothers literally had to grow up understanding the things that they're seeing, because my dad was never the type of father to try to make everybody oblivious to things. He was honest, stern, blunt, and straight real. And sometimes the vibes that were outside would come inside, and you know, there would be fights that would happen, and nothing violent or whatnot, but you know, there was always a lot of emotion because there's so many people in one small house that's mice infested. No matter how clean you are, you know, mice inside the drawers. I literally got used to killing a mouse every day, you know, so that would literally stress me out to the point that I would have to roll up and, you know, do what I got to do to run away from my demons, you know. And I think what's different about this one is that I'm actually facing them, you know, sober. Like, I don't have anything to run to, you know.
And this one referring to the new album.
Yeah, bars stands for Born and Raised in Soul. So yeah, I'm really excited for that project.
Yeah. Okay. So I have something to ask you.
Okay. Let's get it.
No, I'm making it sound more serious than what it really is.
Nah, listen,
but no, so where do you... I know you were talking about like your family life and you draw inspiration from that.
Mm-hmm.
And where else do you draw inspiration from besides your environment? Like, do you have anything that you do besides music that, or something that you've done before that you're like, you know what, you draw from that as well?
So I do paint. Like, I'm not as motivated to paint as I am when it comes to music, but I'm definitely an event curator. My girlfriend and I throw a bi-monthly event series called Taco Night Open Mic.
I know I want to come to that.
Yo, our last event.
I wanted to come to that the last time. Well, I can't remember what happened. I was probably doing, and I was just like, when is it going to be next? Because I'm going to make sure I'm there. I can't remember
August 31st. Our last event.
Done.
We got over 100 people.
I'm going there.
Yep.
I'm putting on, mark your calendars, everyone, August 31st.
Taco Night Open Mic.
Taco Night Open Mic.
Yeah.
It looks so fun. I mean,
we made the tacos ourselves, vegan and turkey tacos, and we actually served them, you know. Our features, Telly Stoneman and MC Knowledge, really did their thing, you know, and we ended it off with a cypher, like an amazing cypher where poets got to come in and do their thing. Rappers, even singers just came in and started singing, and it was just an amazing end to everything. Like, we gave out prizes. Lots of people networked, you know. So many people got to understand who each other was, because there was a lot of popping people in there, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Soraya for founding this. I actually featured in the second one.
Nice.
And then I wanted to throw my type of event, but like, she humbled herself and was like, yo, like, let's do this together. I'm like, I'm down, and we just been rocking out ever since. So follow Taco Night Open Mic on Instagram. We are going to continue to push that, and it's going to be
follow
dope.
Eli Capella.
Yep, Eli Capella 9 on Instagram.
And so before we close out, we have about in 2 minutes. What can you tell someone who's listening who felt like you at one point, who didn't have enough confidence to go out there and actually like do what they love? Like, what piece of advice do you give someone like that?
I would tell them, don't run away from the negativity. The best way to be happy is to find a solution to your problem, you know, not running from it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're hungry. That's a problem. The solution would be to go get something to eat, but you have to accept the fact that you are hungry to get something to eat. So when it comes to how I used to feel when it comes to low self-esteem and whatnot, really acknowledge, like, I have low self-esteem. What am I going to do about it? And start to find things that really make you happy, you know, not put you at ease for a moment, but find things that genuinely give you life and something that you really want to grasp onto, and just embrace it. And there's never an answer to that question. There's never a solution. You just find ways to deal with every level of problem that comes across. But it's literally just the way of the world that we're going to come across conflict, you know. The key is to just understand it, accept it, and just continue to learn how to break through it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I gotta have you on again when the new album drops.
Oh, yeah.
Also like tag me in the video too, because when it I want to see it.
Yeah, I told everybody to drop 100 comments, and there's over 100 comments now.
Is there over 100?
So I gotta be a man of my word and drop it as soon as I'm done here.
Definitely. All right, that was Eli Capella. He's absolutely amazing. I'm going to play. Listen, we're closing out the show. Your track is. I'm gonna play it again. Okay. Just as an ode to Eli.
Encore, bring it back.
Just as an ode to Eli, that makes sense to me. It's but until then, thank you, Marty Kryzwonos, for stopping by. Thank you for doing your thing and helping me out during the LadyBug Music Festival yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait until that video drops. We got to do that. Look at Marty's laughing in the studio. Thank you, Eli.
Yes, thank
Capella, for coming and gracing us with your presence. You are wonderful. You have so much like knowledge. You're like 20.
22.
Oh, you're 22.
Yeah.
He's 22. I love that. I'm 27, so it all makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Until next time, stay lit, love inspired, and true. We're going to play Eli again, Faded. And 9 stands for?
Never initiate a negative energy.
Thank you, Eli.
Yep, have a good one.
Until next time, bye.
This last song is a single that I've dropped. It's available on SoundCloud. For those who don't know, just listen. Yeah, you know that. That's the now. Yeah, you know that. That's the now. That's the now. So yeah, this is my last song. I'm gonna give y'all everything, so I need everything back. So I need everybody to put their hands up. You gon' feel it. Hands up. 1, 2, 3, go.
Fade to fade. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Fade to fade. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Check it out now, I'm the guy who been on the rise. Yeah, I'm hella wise from a place where they looking bummy, but they bullets fly. Oh, you hate the way you're young and get it? Yeah, I can tell. This swag I can never knock. You know my name be ringing bells. Love, I got plenty. They say I'm representing. Yeah, the world is for the taking, so they take in to listen. And my swag is sufficient, cause a young and be drifting. So when I step into that closet, funerals commencing. Woo! Moment of silence for the victims. They should have known I was gon' kill them, cause the youngest stay persistent. I'm super fly, I'll never land. Reppin' for them laws, boys. I killed the hook like Peter Pan. Fade to fade. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Fade to fade. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. From rags to riches, I swear to get it and stay the realest. Don't get it twisted, the stuff we into completely different. I'm in my bag, she in the panties, you in your feelings. I'm in my lane with a chauffeur driven by competition. Where the crime, my enemies cannot stop. They can't take me off my square. Don't put me inside a box. They don't know what to do with youngest who refuse to lose. Keep it true while entertaining you. Push it through, we do what we gotta do to own all that, so we let it all stay. Black entrepreneurs, I let it be known with a mic in the core. With this music, cops won't abuse it. Even though I'm killed and shot or record. While I'm on tour, we all gon' win. Ruben Shorty's gon' love my grit. But on the road, I got a girl like Kim. A rider in the car that she in. Fade to fade. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Fade to fade. All up on them stages, young Capella going crazy. Yeah, you know that that's the 9. Yeah, you know that that's the 9.